When a woman starts distancing herself from you, the first thing you feel is not confusion, it is fear. You feel it in your chest before you can even explain it. Her replies get shorter, her energy changes, she stops asking questions, she stops sounding excited, she takes longer to respond. And suddenly, the woman who used to make you feel chosen now makes you feel like you are waiting outside a locked door. And this is where most men make the mistake that destroys attraction. They text more, they explain more, they ask what is wrong, they try to be sweeter, they apologize for things they do not even understand. They check her stories, they wait for her reply like their whole piece depends on one notification. But the more they chase, the more she distances. And that is the painful truth you need to understand. When a woman pulls away, your reaction either makes her feel your strength or it confirms your fear. In a few minutes, you are going to understand exactly what to do when she distances herself and ignores you without becoming cold, needy, bitter, or manipulative. And before this is over, you will know how to stay calm, protect your self respect, and make sure you never lose yourself just because someone pulls away. Because the answer is not to chase harder, the answer is to stop rewarding distance with desperation. Most men think when she pulls away, they need to close the gap immediately. They think distance is a problem they must fix. They think silence means danger. They think if they do not say something quickly, she will forget them, replace them, or lose feelings forever. But chasing a woman who is already creating distance often creates more distance because now she does not just feel unsure, she feels pressure. And pressure kills attraction. There is a difference between showing interest and chasing validation. There is a difference between being emotionally available and being emotionally dependent. There's a difference between caring about her and needing her response to feel okay. A woman can feel that difference. When you text because you are calm, it feels different. When you text because you are panicking, it feels heavy. When you ask a question because you genuinely want to understand, it feels different. When you ask because you are trying to control her emotions, it feels needy. And neediness does not bring her closer, it makes her feel like your peace is her responsibility. That is too much weight for attraction to carry. So when she distances herself, your first move is not to run toward her. Your first move is to pause. Pause before you text. Pause before you ask what is wrong. Pause before you check her profile. Pause before you create a story in your head. Pause before your fear starts making decisions. Because a man who cannot pause is a man controlled by emotion. And when a woman is distancing herself, emotional control is your strongest position. Not silence is punishment. Not silence is a trick. Not silence is a game. Silence is self control. There is a big difference. Fake silence says, I will go quiet so she panics. Real self respect says, I will not chase someone who is choosing distance. Fake silence is still obsessed with her reaction. Real silence returns your attention to your own life. Fake silence counts hours. Real silence builds discipline. That is the shift. When she pulls away, do not over pursue, do not over explain, do not send emotional paragraphs, do not ask, are we okay, every time her energy changes. Do not act like one dry reply means your whole world is falling apart because the moment you act like distance controls you, she feels it. And when she feels that her distance controls you, your value becomes unstable in her eyes. A grounded man does not panic when a woman needs space. He observes, he gives room, he watches behavior, he keeps his dignity. He does not chase clarity from someone who is currently choosing confusion. This is not about being cold, it is about being centered. A centered man says, I care, but I will not lose myself. That energy is rare. Most men become predictable when a woman pulls away. She gets distant, they chase. She gets quiet, they text more. She ignores them, they try harder. She gives less, they give more. She becomes uncertain, they begin auditioning for her attention. And that teaches her something. It teaches her that if she pulls away, you will lower your standards to keep her close. Do not teach that lesson. If she gives you distance, give her space. If she slows down, slow down. If she becomes cold, do not become desperate for warmth. If she ignores you, do not reward that with more attention. That does not mean you become rude. It means you stop over investing where effort is not being returned. A man with self respect does not punish distance, he simply stops feeding it. This is where your mindset must change. You are not trying to make her come back by acting like you do not care. You are not trying to make her jealous. You are not trying to control her emotions. You are simply refusing to abandon yourself because someone became unsure. That is strength. Now imagine this. It is late at night. You sent her a message earlier. She has not replied. You see she was online. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts talking. Maybe she is losing interest. Maybe she is talking to someone else. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I should send another message. Maybe I should ask if everything is okay. So you type, "Hey, are you mad at me?" Then you delete it. Then you type, "I feel like you've been distant." Then you delete it. Then you type, "I just miss how we used to talk. It sounds honest. It sounds vulnerable." But underneath it, be real with yourself. You are not sending it from peace. You are sending it from fear. And fear is a terrible leader. A strong man tells himself the truth before he acts. He says, "I want a text because I want relief." Then he does not send it. He puts the phone down. He walks. He trains. He writes the message in his notes and keeps it there. He lets the urge pass without obeying it. That is how emotional control is built, not by pretending you do not feel, by feeling everything and still choosing your values. Because if you cannot control yourself when she ignores you, you will become easy to control whenever she changes her energy. That is not masculine power, that is emotional dependence. And emotional dependence makes you accept things you should not accept. It makes you accept dry replies as long as she replies. It makes you accept confusion as long as there is hope. It makes you accept being ignored as long as there is a chance. It makes you accept crumbs because you are starving for connection. A man with self respect does not accept crumbs just because he is hungry. If she distances herself, your job is not to beg for crumbs. Your job is to return to your frame. Your frame is how you carry yourself when your emotions are loud. It is the standard you do not abandon when you feel lonely. It is the calm you protect when someone becomes unpredictable. If your frame collapses every time she pulls back, then she becomes the leader of your emotional life. You cannot let that happen. You must become the leader. That means you stop reacting to every little shift. You stop making her mood the weather of your day. You stop checking your phone every 2 minutes. You stop reading hidden meanings into every delay. A delayed reply is not an emergency. A dry message is not your identity. Her distance is not proof that you are worthless. It is information. Treat it like information. Do not panic. Observe. Is this temporary? Is she stressed? Is she busy? Is this a pattern? Is she losing interest? Is she testing your reaction? Is she unsure? Is she pulling away while keeping you emotionally attached? Observation gives you power, reaction gives power away. So when she distances herself, take one step back emotionally, match the energy without becoming childish. If she is not investing, stop over investing. If she is not communicating, do not carry the whole connection alone. If she is ignoring you, do not beg for basic attention. Because attraction does not grow when a man chases someone who is giving less. Attraction grows around respect, and respect begins with how you respect yourself. Now, if she has been ignoring you repeatedly, you have to stop pretending it is nothing. A woman who genuinely values connection will not leave you confused forever. She may need space, she may have bad days, she may be busy, but consistent ignoring, coldness, and low effort tell you something. And a man must listen to behavior, not potential, not memories, not the version of her from the beginning. Behavior, the beginning may have been warm, the beginning may have been exciting, the beginning may have made you feel chosen, but the beginning is not the whole truth. The truth is how she treats you now. A weak man lives in the memory. A grounded man watches the pattern. If she used to be loving and now she is cold, do not chase the old version through the new behavior. That is how men get trapped. They say, "But she used to care. Maybe she did, but what is she showing now?" They say, "But we had something special. Maybe you did, but is she respecting it now?" They say, "But I know the real her. Maybe you knew one side of her. But the side in front of you now matters too. A man must not become blind because he misses the beginning. Nostalgia can make disrespect look temporary. Hope can make distance look romantic. Fear can make you tolerate what your self respect would reject. Do not let that happen. When she distances herself, the strongest thing you can do is give space and watch, not chase and panic, not beg and explain, not attack and accuse. Give space and watch. If she values you, space will show it. If she was only keeping you around for attention, space will show that too. If she wants to reconnect, her actions will become clearer. If she is done, you will stop wasting energy trying to force life back into something she already left emotionally. Either way, you gain truth, and truth is better than false hope. Now, here's the practical reset for the next 7 days. Do not message her first. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends about her. Do not post to get her attention. Do not make emotional decisions at night. Do not reread old messages until your chest hurts. Do not send just checking on you messages when you really want reassurance. For 7 days, put your energy into training, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and rebuilding your identity. Train your body, even if your mind is heavy. Clean your space, even if your emotions feel messy. Fix your sleep because tired men make weak decisions. Eat properly because heartbreak already drains you. Walk when anxiety hits. Write what you want to send, but do not send it. Put your phone away before midnight. Build your day before your emotions build it for you. This is not about pretending you do not care. It is about proving that her distance does not own you. Every time you do not chase, you rebuild self trust. Every time you do not check, you rebuild peace. Every time you do not send a fear based message, you rebuild dignity. Every time you choose your routine while hurting, you become stronger. Confidence is not built by saying, I am confident. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. You said you would not chase. Do not chase. You said you would not check. Do not check. You said you would not beg. Do not beg. That is how a man becomes solid. And when a man becomes solid, his energy changes. He is not waiting by the phone. He is not emotionally shaking because she is quiet. He is not begging for proof that he matters. He is not making one woman's distance the center of his life. He has direction. Directed is powerful. A man with direction does not orbit around a woman's uncertainty. He keeps moving. He has things to build. He has a body to strengthen. He has money to earn. He has skills to improve. He has standards to protect. And when a woman feels that you have direction, she feels that your attention is not cheap. That matters. Because attention without boundaries loses value. If she can ignore you and still receive your full emotional energy, then your attention has no boundary. If she can pull away and still know you are waiting, then your presence has no consequence. If she can give less and you give more, then your effort becomes something she does not have to earn. Stop making your effort automatic. A woman should not have to beg for your attention, but she should not receive full access while giving low effort either. Balance. That is the word. Be warm but not desperate. Be open but not needy. Be patient but not passive. Be understanding but not blind. Be calm but not weak. That is the balance. Now, what if she reaches out after distancing herself? This is where you must stay sharp. She may send a small message. She may act like nothing happened. She may say, hey. She may ask a random question. She may reply to something after ignoring you for days. She may suddenly become warm again. Do not collapse. Do not punish her. Do not rush. Do not pour out your feelings. Do not say, where have you been? Do not immediately ask, are we okay? Do not act like you have been waiting by the phone. Stay calm. If she says, hey, you can say, hey, hope you're doing well. That is enough. Then observe, does she bring real energy? Does she explain? Does she show consistency? Does she respect your pace? Does she communicate with clarity? Or does she only give you a little warmth to see if you are still available? A small signal is not a full return. A hey is not commitment. A reply is not respect. A warm moment is not changed behavior. Watch the pattern. If she comes back with effort, you can meet effort with calm interest. If she comes back with vagueness, you do not chase clarity. If she comes back hot and cold, you do not become emotionally addicted to the warm parts. A man with self respect does not get drunk on inconsistent attention. He watches consistency because consistency reveals what emotion hides. Someone can miss you and still not be ready to treat you right. Someone can like your attention and still not respect your boundaries. Someone can come close when lonely and pull away when comfortable again. That is why you move slowly. A real return can handle patience. A fake return cannot. If she genuinely values you, she will not be scared by your calm pace. If she only wants emotional access, your boundaries may make her disappear again. Let that happen. You need truth more than you need temporary comfort because comfort can keep you trapped. Truth sets you free. Now let us talk about what not to do. Do not ask her over and over, what happened? One clear conversation is different from begging for explanation. If she is willing to communicate respectfully, fine. But if she avoids, ignores, and stays vague, stop trying to force clarity out of someone who benefits from your confusion. Do not keep sending messages to check in. Checking in becomes chasing when the energy is not mutual. Do not use social media to make her jealous. That is not power. That is performance. Do not become bitter and say all women are the same. That is not masculinity. That is pain that never matured. Do not turn her distance into a mission to prove your worth. Your worth does not need a courtroom. You do not have to argue your value. You live it. That is a stronger move. When she distances herself and ignores you, the calmest response is often the most powerful one. You stop reaching, you stop overgiving, you stop feeding the dynamic, you allow space, you rebuild, you protect your peace, and if she notices, she notices. If she does not, you still win because you did not betray yourself. That is the deeper truth. Most men only want advice that makes her come back, but the better advice is the one that makes you strong, whether she comes back or not. Because if your peace depends on her return, you are still not free. A free man says, if she comes back with respect, I will listen. If she does not, I will keep walking. That is powerful, not because he does not care, because he does not need to abandon himself to care. That is the man you are becoming. You are becoming the man who does not chase distance, the man who does not beg for warmth, the man who does not panic at silence. The man who does not over explain when a woman becomes cold, the man who can love deeply and still stay grounded, that kind of man is rare, and rare energy is remembered. She may expect you to chase, you do not. She may expect you to ask what is wrong 10 times, you do not. She may expect you to wait around, you do not. She may expect you to give more when she gives less, you do not. You simply step back and become harder to access without respect. That changes the dynamic. But again, do not make the dynamic your obsession. Do not sit there thinking, is she feeling it yet? That is still waiting. That is still making her the center. Your mission is not her reaction. Your mission is your transformation, your body, your work, your faith, your money, your sleep, your discipline, your standards, your future. Build so deeply that whether she notices or not, your life becomes stronger. That is real power. Because a man who only improves for a woman is still controlled by that woman. But a man who improves because he respects himself becomes free, and freedom is attractive because it does not beg. Now, if she keeps ignoring you, you must accept the possibility that her distance is her answer. That may hurt, but it will also save you. Some people do not give closure with words, they give closure with behavior. If she repeatedly ignores you, avoids clarity, gives low effort, and makes you feel like you are chasing basic communication, then you may already have the answer. You do not need to keep asking. Her pattern is speaking. Listen, a man with self respect does not keep knocking on a door where basic respect is missing. He steps back, not with hatred, with clarity. He can say to himself, I cared, but I will not chase someone who keeps showing me distance. That sentence is strength, and it might hurt at first. It might feel like losing. It might feel like if you stop trying, everything ends, but maybe what ends is not love. Maybe what ends is your self betrayal. Maybe what ends is the cycle where she pulls away and you lose yourself. Maybe what ends is your addiction to being chosen by someone unsure. Sometimes the thing you call loss is actually the beginning of self respect. Do not fear that. Now, there is a difference between giving space and disappearing emotionally in a childish way. A mature man is not rude. He does not play silent treatment. He does not punish. He does not create confusion on purpose. If you are in a relationship and something needs to be addressed, you can speak once with calm clarity. You can say, I've noticed some distance. I'm not here to pressure you. If you want to talk, I'm open to it. But I'm not going to chase confusion. That is mature. Then you step back. You do not keep repeating it. You do not turn it into a weekly speech. You do not demand reassurance. You say it once and watch behavior. Words are easy. Behavior tells the truth. If she respects you, she will meet clarity with clarity. If she wants space, she will take it. If she wants to continue, she will show effort. If she wants to keep you confused, she will stay vague. And then you decide accordingly. That is how a man moves calm, clear, controlled, not needy, not aggressive, not passive, controlled. Control is not about controlling her. It is about controlling yourself. You cannot control whether she distances. You cannot control whether she replies. You cannot control whether she changes. You cannot control whether she returns. But you can control whether you chase. You can control whether you check. You can control whether you beg. You can control whether you keep your routine. You can control whether you protect your peace. You can control whether you become better or bitter. That is your power. Use it, because when a man focuses on what he cannot control, he becomes anxious. When he focuses on what he can control, he becomes stronger. This is why your routine matters so much. A man without a routine will make her his routine. He wakes up and checks her. He works and thinks about her. He trains and hopes she sees it. He sleeps and dreams about getting her back. His whole day becomes built around one woman's energy. That is dangerous. You need structure. Without structure, heartbreak becomes your schedule. So build a day that does not leave your mind empty for too long. Train, work, walk, learn, clean, eat, sleep, pray, build, create, meet friends, improve skills, handle responsibilities, not to avoid the pain, to lead the pain. Pain without direction becomes obsession. Pain with direction becomes growth. That is how you use it. When she distances herself, do not become a man who sits in emotional darkness waiting for a woman to turn the light back on. Turn on your own light. That is masculinity, not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that says, I am hurt, but I am still responsible for my life. That line can change you. I am hurt, but I am still responsible for my life, because heartbreak will try to make you irresponsible. It will tell you not to train, it will tell you not to sleep, it will tell you to waste hours checking her. It will tell you to neglect your work. It will tell you to let everything fall apart because she pulled away. Do not obey. That is how pain wins. You win by doing what needs to be done while still feeling the pain. That is discipline. And discipline is more attractive than desperation. Now, if she comes back after distancing, you must not become too available too quickly. This is important. If she ignored you for days, then suddenly appears and you respond like nothing happened, you teach her that your boundaries are weak. If she pulls away and returns whenever she wants, and you always welcome her with full energy, you train the pattern to continue. Warmth is good, weakness is not so when she returns. Be calm, be respectful, but do not overgive. Let her effort determine the pace. If she wants a real conversation, have one. If she wants access without accountability, step back. You can say, I'm open to talking, but I need consistency, not confusion. That is a strong line, not emotional, not angry. Clear. A mature woman can respect that. An immature one may call it pressure or disappear again. That is useful information. Do not fear losing someone who only stays when you abandon your standards. That is not a loss, that is protection. The right connection does not require you to beg for basic respect. The right connection does not make you feel like you are constantly chasing warmth. The right connection does not punish you for having boundaries. Remember that. Because when you are attached, you can confuse anxiety with love. You can confuse inconsistency with mystery. You can confuse chasing with effort. You can confuse being ignored with needing to prove yourself. No, love should not require you to become smaller. A man can care deeply and still know when to step back. That is self respect. And if stepping back makes her leave completely, then the connection was already weaker than your hope wanted to admit. Let truth be truth. Do not fight reality just because fantasy feels better. A strong man can accept what is, even when it hurts. That is why he is strong. Now, when she distances herself, you may feel the need to get closure. You may want to ask, why are you ignoring me? You may want to ask, what did I do? You may want to ask, are you losing feelings? Sometimes one calm conversation is appropriate. But do not keep chasing closure from someone who keeps avoiding clarity. Closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is the pattern. Sometimes closure is the silence. Sometimes closure is the fact that you had to beg for basic communication. Sometimes closure is realizing that the person you wanted is not showing the respect you need. That is painful, but it frees you, because the moment you stop begging for closure, you start creating it through your actions. Closure is the day you stop chasing. Closure is the night you do not send the paragraph. Closure is the morning you train instead of checking her. Closure is the moment you choose peace over anxiety. Closure is when you say, I will not lose myself because someone is unsure about me. That is how you move forward. And forward is the direction you need. If she catches up with clarity, you can decide from strength. If she does not, you keep walking. That is the frame. You do not chase her into your life. You build a life worth entering. And if she wants to be part of it, she has to meet you with respect. That is not arrogance. That is self respect. A man with self respect does not need to shout his value. He does not need to prove he is high value. He does not need to keep announcing that he has options. He simply lives like his time, peace, attention, and love matter because they do. Your attention matters, your emotional energy matters, your peace matters, your future matters. Do not give those things away to someone who is giving you confusion. That is the message. When a woman distances herself and ignores you, just do this: pause. Do not chase, step back. Match your distance with calm self respect. Stop checking, stop over explaining, stop trying to force clarity, return to your routine. Build your body, build your work, build your discipline. Watch her actions. If she returns with respect, move slowly. If she stays distant, let her go with dignity. That is the whole truth. Not glamorous, not dramatic, but powerful, because the strongest move is often the one that protects your peace. And protecting your peace will feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to chasing. You will feel like you are doing nothing, but you are not doing nothing. You're doing the hardest thing. You're not reacting. You're not begging. You are not rewarding distance. You are not abandoning yourself. That is something, that is strength. So tonight, when your mind tells you to text her, do not text from panic. When your hand reaches for the phone to check her story, stop. When you want to ask a friend what she is doing, come back to yourself. When you want to post something so she notices, ask yourself if you are building a life or performing one. Choose the life, put the phone down, stand up, drink water, walk, train, pray, work celibate, pill. Do one thing that makes tomorrow better. Because discipline is how a man tells heartbreak, you can hurt me, but you cannot lead me. That is the man she remembers, not the man who begged, not the man who folded, not the man who chased after every cold reply, the man who hurt but stayed composed, the man who cared but did not abandon himself, the man who missed her but kept moving, the man who turned silence into strength, pain into standards, and distance into direction. That man is hard to ignore. That man is hard to replace. That man is free. And if she comes back, he does not rush. He does not punish. He does not collapse. He listens. He observes. He lets actions prove what words cannot. And if she never comes back, he still wins because he did not lose himself trying to keep someone who is willing to ignore him. So remember this: when a woman distances herself from you and ignores you, do not chase her distance. Do not beg for her warmth. Do not make her silence the center of your life. Step back with dignity, rebuild with discipline, protect your peace. Let her actions show you the truth. And become the man who can love deeply without losing himself when love becomes uncertain. That is real power.